Hello everyone, welcome to CLAT SARTHY. My name is Rupak Kumar, and I really hope you are doing well. And I really hope you have started with your preparations. And if you have, best of luck, well and good. And if you have not started with your preparations, I really, very humbly request you, please start with your preparation. This is your last chance because only 70 to 75 days are there. You have 2.5 months, and you are in the sweet spot right now. Examination is not too far. That is like you are preparing for a lot of months, and you are starting to get preparation fatigue. You're starting to forget the stuff you have already studied. The examination is not right around the corner, that you do not have enough time, that you are getting anxious about how you will be covering the syllabus, how you will be working on your weak points, and how will you go about the revisions and the mock tests and practice papers and all that. So you have ample time. You can start your preps, cover your syllabus, work on your weak points, and then have some time to revise and like do practice papers and all that. And you have enough time that is short enough that you can maintain your energy level throughout the preparations till the examination. So please start preparations if you haven't already. Then well good. If you have not, please do. Now coming back to today's video. Today's video is basically going to be about our approach toward this exam, and specifically in the English part of it, like how we'll be approaching the English part of it. Get the syllabus, read the syllabus, go through the syllabus once, twice, thrice, 4 times, 5 times. Read the syllabus. Do not understand it. I repeat, do not try to understand the syllabus. Do not try to remember the syllabus. Just read it from top to bottom. Like this is a one-page syllabus. This is not a very long syllabus. Read it cover to cover. Then pick the question papers of last 3 to 4 years, minimum 3 to 4 years. Okay, last year, last to last, and years before that. Pick them, read them. Just read them cover to cover. First question to last question. Do not try to answer them. Do not try to like think too much about it. Just read them. Okay, first last year question paper, then the year before that, and then year before that. Be done with that, and do not multitask while you're doing it. Do not just be like have your phone and songs playing around you. Do not do that. Sit there quietly and go through it. Now, just give yourself a rest. Let your mind rest for like half an hour. Now pick up the syllabus again, and now read the syllabus afresh. For the English part of it, first of all, English is a language, so do not try to cram it. Like you cannot cram a language. Okay, you can cram the vocabulary part of it somewhat, but how to use it beautifully, artistically, that sense again has to come with an artistic touch. Like it is a language. This is not science, or this is not your low subject that you're just remembering the sections and section numbers and just cramming and cramming and cramming. No, this is a language. So you have to like approach it with a little bit of creativity. So this examination is not going to demand very deep knowledge of English, to be honest. This is not a CGL examination, this is not a UPSC examination, but they do need a certain level of basic understanding. They need you to have a to like cover the comprehension. You need like four aspects. You need to cover the four things before you can properly attempt a comprehension. First is you need to know that okay, first thing is going to be your vocabulary. Okay, that is a first basic thing. Like, if there is a word, you need to know the meaning of it. Without it, nothing else just works. Everything falls apart. Okay. For vocabulary, I am like really sorry. There are a lot of people saying like, oh, this trick for vocabulary, that trick for vocabulary. Nothing works. This is a language. Okay. There are two aspects of vocabulary. First aspect is you can cram some of it. Like you can just read and remember the meaning of some words, but there's a limitation to it, and after one point, just gets so boring and so frustrating that you start to hate the subject. So do not push yourself to that limit. I request you to do that. Do not push yourself to that point that you start to hate the subject. Okay, put in your work, put in the hard work, do that. That is the important part of it. But do not drag it to the point that you just get frustrated with yourself and the subject altogether. Second thing is there are some tips and basic tricks, like use some words and like remember the words in groups. Like if there is one word, remember the surrounding words. Okay, that's a simple trick. Okay, like if this is a verb, learn the exact. What is the verb? Learn the adjective of it. What is the noun of the same word? Just go about that way. This is a basic thing basically. Second thing is like there are prefixes and suffixes. Okay, there is words that make the certain meaning out of something. For example, you have a word side. This means basically death. So anything that is followed by side is basically they are talking about the death of it. Suicide, insecticide, pesticides, that kind of thing. So these are basic tricks. Okay, you do that, you expose yourself to vocabulary and you start to grasp that concept on your own. Basically, just be mindful about that. Now, basically, you have to expose yourself. So the one trick, the proper way to do vocabulary is exposure. Expose yourself to as much as vocabulary you can. Read a lot of books, read newspapers, read judgment. Simply, I would suggest you move away from movies and all that. Since you are going for CLAT examination, read legal stuff. Go for like high court judgments, books about like famous judgments. Like there is a book about like top 10 judgments of this, the Nana Palkiwala judgment. It is a movie on. So keep it interesting, but keep it on the legal side of stuff. Do not just go for the entertainment point of it. Now, go for Supreme Court judgments, basically. Okay, so expose yourself as much as you can. Now, coming back to the second part of it, this exposure will provide you with two things. This will provide you with new vocabulary. Like this is the word you are like facing the word for the first time. You try to remember the word, you try to use the word as much as you can, you read read as much as you can, so you'll encounter that word again and again. Okay, so this is for the new vocabulary. Now there's a one hidden thing, this is a bonus thing in vocabulary. You already know a lot of vocabulary. For example, there are a lot of English words that you do not know the meaning of it, you do not see them as English words, you just know them as names and you just know them as random stuff. Start to pinpoint those words, like start to recognize those vocabulary that is like a latent vocabulary lying around you. Pick that vocabulary. For example, there's a bike, Hero Honda Splendor. Okay, what does that mean? Splendor is an English word. Splendid is also an English word. What is the meaning of that? So go with that. So a lot of things, lot of English words are just lying around you. You're using those words. You're just using them as names and brands and all that stuff. Start to recognize that and start to have a like conscious sense about those stuff. So if you're using a word that is English word, then stop yourself. Okay, okay, this is the English word. I do not know the meaning of it. Use it. Your UI interface of your like user interface of your mobile is in English. Instagram, Facebook, everyone, their settings, their pages, a lot of English is there. And you're reading those every day. You are familiar with the words, you already know the English words. Those words are not new to you. So start getting the meanings of those words into your vocabulary. That is just a vocabulary lying around to be used for you. For example, there's a car called Accord. What is the meaning of Accord? There's a bike called Triumph. There's a chappal brand called Paragon. There's a coaching center named Paramount. So these are English words. And you already know the words. So just remember to recognize those words and use them in your vocabulary. That is just additional vocabulary. So that is it for the vocabulary. You have to work hard for that. That is not something you can just like, there's no tips and tricks for that. Now coming back to the second point. Second aspect of it is going to be grammar. Now for grammar, I can't give you tips and tricks on grammar basically. They are not going to go very deep into the grammar for this examination, but you need to have the basic understanding of it. So if you know the grammar, please revise it. Just revise it. Just listen to me without questioning me. Even if you know, do not be overconfident. Just pick any grammar book and revise it. I will seriously hope that you do that. That will help you a lot. For those who are weak in grammar, I will suggest you buy a book. You buy any book, to be honest. I'm not asking you to buy those bulky books or anything. Just buy a simple grammar book. And if you are asking for a suggestion, there's a book by two authors called Rain and Martin. English Grammars of Rain and Martin comes in two parts. Skip the second part, just pick up the first part. It is like this thing. Yeah, 50 pages at max, I guess. This is the basic, the most basic and the most accurate book of English that is out there. That is one of the easiest book to read. You don't need any help, just read the book. It starts with first word, end it at the last word, and do it like 2 or 3 times. It is a weekly project, just you can go through the whole book in 1 week. For the next month, do it 4 times, like 4 weeks, 4 times go through that book, your grammar is covered. Or you can't get hold of that book, get any book that is prescribed in your school from class 5th to class 9th. Do not go for any advanced book. Class 5th to class 9, any grammar book. That is a complete grammar book. Pick that book, go through it, and your grammar will be like the basics of your grammar will be covered. It is not that hard. So for grammar, I would really suggest you to just revise it or learn it. Do not go in those like do not take those bulky books. Now third part. Third part is basically comprehension part. Comprehension part is going to be the like that is the topic of your examination basically. So in the comprehension part, examiner is just testing you on one thing. He's going to give you a paragraph. You are going to read it. That much information is there in the paragraph. You are going to take this much information out of the paragraph. That is what he wants you to do. Okay. After that, he is going to ask you a couple of questions, and you have to use those questions and take out specific pieces of information out of that paragraph and answer those questions. So he wants to see that can you understand what he's going to tell you? Can you make more things out of that information? And can you give back to him the specific information he is demanding? That is basically what comprehension means. Can you comprehend it? Can आप समझ सकते हैं नहीं उसे? So इसका बेसिकली एक है कि इंफॉर्मेशन आएगी आपके पास, वो आपको डिड्यूस करनी आनी चाहिए. सो यू हैव टू बेसिकली think about everything in a very Sherlockish way. You know, so Sherlock Holmes, the detective. So when you read something, do not just know the meaning of it. See how much information can you take out of that particular sentence. For example, he is Akshay Kumar. He is an actor. Okay. Now there are a couple of things. The basic things is his name is Akshay Kumar and he is an actor. Two pieces of information you get out of it. But there are additional information that is there. First of all, when you say he's Akshay Kumar, you can like make a guess, a calculated guess that he is a male, he's not a female. Second thing, when his name is Akshay Kumar, he is not Polish, he is not German, he is not a Christian basically. The chances of him being a Muslim is also very limited. From the name you can deduce like most probably he is a Hindu and he is from northern part of India or the central part of India. Okay, so that much guesswork you can do. So now from the same two sentences you have two additional pieces of information. Start to see things and read things in that aspect. That will help you comprehend more and more with as little as information provided to you. Okay, you need a little bit of practice for that, and then you will get better with it. And since you have 2.5 months, go with the editorial part of newspaper, practice with that, and it will work wonders for you. And you get used to it, that like this becomes kind of a second nature to you. Like you do not have to consciously think about it, you just becomes a habit. It just kind of turns up into a habit and you just do it on your own without putting any effort into it. But in the first phase of it, in the beginning, put conscious effort until it becomes second nature. Okay, now that is the comprehension part of it. Make stuff out of it. Like you're reading it, just get the gist of it. Try to see how much information can you extract from it. That much, like that is all to the comprehension part of it. The last part is I'm going to like this is like connected part of it, the reading part of it. That is the most important part in the comprehension thing. Now, first of all, the way you see reading is like saying the words out loud is reading. Like when you used to be told read this, you will just say the words out loud. Okay, this. I'm reading this. Do not do that. That is not reading. Reading is basically reading without comprehending is not even reading. So you have to keep these two last parts, reading and comprehension, together. Now with reading, you have different levels. Okay, the first thing I want to say is किसी की हाइट 5 फुट है, किसी की 3 इंच है, किसी की 18 इंच है. Okay, so 5 foot 8 inch, 5 foot 3 inch, 6 foot. There are different levels. Okay, first of all, the first thing you need to do is see where you stand with the reading. Go to Google, take your phone, just take a reading test. Just type reading speed test, take a test and see where you stand. So if this is the average speed, your speed is there, do not waste your time on improving your reading. You are already good enough for the exam. Stop working even a little bit on your reading speed. Just drop it all together. Focus on other areas where you're weak. If your reading speed is this much, improve it. If this much, really improve it. Then put conscious effort into reading it. So first see where you stand. Then decide if you want to work on the reading part of it. Okay, on on the reading speed of your. Second thing with the reading is, now reading is basically a part of your practice. Like what you do daily helps with the reading. If you are like, and you have been an avid reader, you have been reading comics and you have been reading novels and all that kind of stuff, then you're like better at it. It's simple as that. If you have been reading a lot, you're faster at it. Your comprehension is better. Another thing is, you have to expose yourself again. This exposure will help you with creativity in your language, vocabulary in your language, comprehension of your language, and the speed you are comprehending, the reading speed basically, and the comprehending speed. Reading without comprehension, again I'm repeating, useless. Okay, just don't go with the reading part alone. You have to read and comprehend. Now there are some tips and tricks, like practice part you have to do, and you have to put conscious effort into it. For the reading part, another aspect of it is some tips and tricks. Now come back to the comprehension part. For answer, I told you that he's going to be providing you with this much information, and he's going to ask particular parts of this information. So you have to do this thing where you have to point out those parts which is going to be needing from you. For that part, you have to do two things. When you start to approach your question paper, start from the end. Like, do not go with the question paper. Like, read the question paper, read the paragraph, and go with the question paper, and read the question and then start answering. Read the questions first. You have this much information. Read the questions. Now you know what he's going to be needing from you. This is the kind of information. You have a sense that this is the kind of information you need. Okay. Now when you're reading that paragraph, you read a line and you see, okay, this line is not answering any of the questions. Ignore it. Next line, ignore it. Next line, okay, this line I have something that can be used to answer the questions. Like underline it, move to the next line, go through the whole paragraph like that. Now after you're done with that paragraph, now you have like 10 to 15 lines that you have pointed out that these are the important lines that are going to give me the answers. Now you have 5 questions, 10 lines. This is like a 50-50 lifeline in Kolmina Crorepati. Okay, your half of the work is done already. Now you have to just pinpoint, okay, this is this answer, this is this answer. It's simple as that. Okay, so first of all, read the question paper, read the questions, and then go after the paragraph. This way, all the redundant information, that this much of information is there, all the wasteful information that is not going to be of any use to you in the examination. Since examination is time based, you need to focus on the speed of examination too. Like you need to answer, and you need to answer fast, because it is a time restricted examination. So do that. Now another thing, but there's another thing, to even to see which part is redundant and which part is important, you have to do another thing, that you have to see that you have to go through the whole thing. You have to actually read the paragraph at least once. Now you have to read the paragraph once, so your speed becomes important. Since you do not have that much time to practice, or practicing did not improve you that much, there is one simple trick. You are reading a line, there's a lot of redundant information in that line. Ignore that information. And how to ignore that information is basically, when you see a word, you don't have to actually say the word out loud. There are two things: the way you are comprehending something, the way you are looking at it. The way you can see something is faster than the way you can speak it. So do not confuse these two. Like, let me explain to you again. For example, I read a paragraph, I read a line, I say every word out loud. Like, his name is Akshay Kumar, he is an actor. So there is a limitation how fast I can say all those words. And then I can just look at it and understand those words without even saying out loud. So if you start reading while saying the words out loud, you limit your reading speed to the speed you can speak those words out loud. So do not read out loud or read in your head all the words. Okay. So if there's a sentence like, his name is Akshay Kumar, he is an actor. Just look at the look at the name, look at the Akshay Kumar, look at that part. Underline the name Akshay Kumar, an actor. So do not say every word out loud. Just look at the words. Look at that there is, the word is. So you see the is there, so you know that it is present tense. you see there is a will, you see there is a future tense. That much information is needed from that word. You don't have to say it out loud and just remember it. Just look at it, you will automatically know that is there, present tense, has is there, most probably present perfect, will is there, most probably future tense. Okay, or some modal is there. Then you go to name. Okay, now that is the information. Okay, name. We are talking about names. This, oh, Akshay Kumar. Name is Akshay Kumar. Then he is an actor. Again, skip that. Just look at it. He was, he is. Just look at it and you automatically get information. Okay, actor. So the way you have to do it is look at it and go name Akshay Kumar actor. Just jump from important words to important words and skip the middle part. Just look at it. You do that, you practice, you consciously practice that part for like a week, and you will see that your reading speed actually doubled and your comprehension gets better that way. Another point is use a pacer. Use your fingers, use a pen, use anything, use a pencil, anything where like just follow, make your eyes follow that pen. So if you're reading this, just put your like pen there and you pace it out loud. The faster you move that pen, the faster your eyes will go through it, and then make your eyes jump from important word to important words. Do not stop on is, am, are, the, was, were. Do not stop on prepositions or helping verbs. Pick the important words. This is a conscious effort in the beginning, and after that you get used to it. Another thing is when you're reading it, do not go back. If you have like passed over and you don't remember what that word was, skip it. Make sure your pen goes in this direction and not in this direction. If you do not get it, just go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. 5 मिनट की मूवी निकल जाती है तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि पूरी मूवी समझ नहीं आती है. Okay, so if you like, okay, I don't remember what I just read, no problem, keep going. You do not need to remember the paragraph, you just need to answer those questions, and that much, as I have told you, that is more than enough for that. Okay, so that is all for today. Next time I will be like using a proper screen and explain these things to you. This was more of a video to make you and myself familiar with each other and the concept. So if you have any queries, like just leave a comment. I will try to answer all of them. And till next time, I see you. Start your preparations today, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.